Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mondays. 9th November. Oh, hello. Bit of a fringe issue there. I'm like a horse. Do you know, like when horses' fringes, their tails ain't going, you cut them off, don't you? Horses' fringes get out. I'm like that. A bit, maybe somewhere in the line in the genealogy. I don't know, a bit of horse in there somewhere. Who knows? So anyway, we're talking about Remembrance Sunday today, or should I say the lack of Remembrance Sunday. Zevi Zircon, hello. How are you, darling? Nice to see you. You doing all right? Happy days. I've been working. I've been back about half hour now. So I thought, let's come and have a chat and talk about what happened yesterday about the Lone Piper. This guy, I'm trying to think what his name is. I'll tell you in a second. It's not Kevin Blackburn. Let's have a look. Let's see what his name is. I met him quite some time ago, to be fair. Let's have a look. No, I haven't got it. But the Lone Piper yesterday. See, look, if you don't just finish myself, go on, son. Ian Sermon. Hello, mate. Owen Lloyd Martin. Hola. How are you, mate? Paul Anthony French. Merv. Hello, son. Nice to see you. So we're not allowed Remembrance Sunday no more. Sadiq Khan and a few other dignitaries did something at the Cenotaph yesterday. I'm not too sure what they did at the Cenotaph. But the Metropolitan Police thugs decided to section the whole road off. Remember, lawmakers can't be lawbreakers, right? That's set in stone. Well, you'd like to think so. So many people went to Remembrance Sunday, 11th hour, 11th day, 11th minute and all that. And it's the closest Sunday to the 11th. So it was yesterday. But none were allowed to go through. The Metropolitan Police had sectioned off that part of London. Why? Because they own it. Metropolitan Police own the streets. They own the roads, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't you know? So this Lone Piper, who was absolutely disgraced that he couldn't go up and pay his respects with his bagpipes, he's a veteran himself. And they wouldn't let him through. So rather than him just accept that, he tried to walk through the Metropolitan Police to go and pay his respects, which is part of our customs and history and heritage, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We have been honouring our war dead for years. And because of this little virus that's out there somewhere, I'm not sure where it is, but it's out there. Everything else has been put on hold, but we all seem to think that it's a temporary thing. This is the dichotomy. We all seem to think that this time period that we're in, the new normal that we've all got to get used to. Fuck that shit. We've all got to get used to this new time period because the Metropolitan Police and the scientists and the government all say so. We've got to get used to it. No choice. Got to get used to it. Some of us are refusing that. We're not having it. Ruth, how are you, darling? Jackie Jones, how are you, mate? West Sussex. Hello, gorgeous. Lovely to see you. So, sometimes in life you need to find your balls, all right? And this Piper started piping and he tried to walk through the police in the middle so that he could go down to the Cenotaph, pay their respects, lay their wreath, and Bob's your uncle. But no, this Metropolitan Police thug pushed him to the ground and he fell over. He got off balance and fell over. And there are people calling this guy a plant. Let me tell you, I've met this guy. He's not a plant. He's a veteran and he's a piper and he's a lovely man. And he's definitely not a plant. Trust me. But they knocked him to the ground. But when he got up, he was saying to people, hold my bagpipes. They'd really pissed him off. And I think he was going to go and have a dust up with the police. Who are these people? Why? I've never understood why we allow this to happen. Why we've allowed a certain group of people in our country to become the master race. When they can just push you to the ground and do all these things that they're doing to us. They are purporting to be the chosen ones, the master race, and they're not. Clearly, the master race. Victoria West, Payne, afternoon all, Immortal Alien, full footage and explanation from the Piper as what happened, plan, not sure. So they would get to the cenotaph, no public were allowed during the reporting. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. You're not allowed. They're trying to get rid of our customs and traditions, ladies and gentlemen, all right? They want to get rid of anything that will resemble of our ancestry, our forefathers, what they died for, the pains they went through, going over the trenches and stuff. They couldn't care for that. They're just cannon fodder. The police now are I just see them as a Gestapo, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call it as it is. You won't never hear me say this about the fire service or the NHS or anything like that. Really and truthfully, you won't. We know that there's arrogant people in these establishments that think that they own it all and that their shit don't stink. Well, it certainly does stink, ladies and gentlemen. But yesterday, again, we're seeing the police acting so outrageous and no one does nothing. Bad things happen when good men and women do nothing. That's a maxim. That's a maxim in law, right? That is a God-given maxim. Bad things happen when good people do nothing. And this is why we have a situation where our public servants are now beating us. They're beating us. They're harming us, pushing us over, costing us around here. Do what they like. Why? Because good people do nothing. We whinge, we moan, we bitch. We do nothing. We don't do anything. We should do. We should do. And I think maybe in time, these days are going to be upon us when we actually do something. Because I tell you what, all the kids being born to the world right now, what future are we bringing for them? You've got no choice. You've got to beg. And when not really many people are living right now, they're existing. All right. Now, you come into this world to live. You come into this world to enjoy freedom, liberty, all them great things that cost nothing but mean everything. But yet we just give them away cheaply and we don't defend them. We don't defend them. We defend all the stupid things in life like pop stars and celebrities. We seem to think that they're the gurus, that they're the ones that we've all got to pay attention to and bow down and worship. They're just all false idols, man. Complete false idols. So we've got to turn this around, but we do nothing. And this man being pushed to the ground yesterday was an effrontery. The police don't own the roads, ladies and gentlemen. The government seems to think that it owns everything. Because they got this notion that Parliament is sovereign. Well, Parliament isn't sovereign, ladies and gentlemen. We, the living men and women of this country, we're sovereign. We're the thing that this Parliament, whatever it is supposed to protect. And it doesn't. YouTube is filled with false idols too in the YT rage cult. Yeah, I don't pay no attention to that. Look, that's why when I come in here, I don't care what I look like. I don't care really what comes out of my mouth because whatever flows, flows. I don't care who likes me, who dislikes me, who follows me, who don't. I'm not in. I don't care. I'm passionate about my country and I'm passionate about freedom and liberty. And I don't like tyranny and dictators. That's the only reason I'm here. I don't come in here to lambast my ego and baste it in juices. I just don't do that. All right. I just hope that many of you now are seeing the truth of what's going on. And the Metropolitan Police look like an SS unit. And they're actually going around and harming us. Now, the policeman's oath is serve and protect. Yeah? It's to protect life, liberty, and property. Years ago, when the peelers were formed and stuff like that, they weren't allowed to talk to you unless they suspected you 100% of a crime. And they had to lay down their life for you. That's what public servitude's all about. You know, the boys in the fire service, the boys and girls in the fire service, when they're in your house and the timbers are falling down around them and the place is raging in inferno and all they've got is a hose with loads of water coming out of it, risking their lives. But they don't care. They're in there doing their job and they're in there trying to protect you and your stuff. They're heroes. But show me where the heroism is with the police. I don't see it. I don't see any heroes in the police force. I just don't. I mean, that copper that got murdered at Westminster a few years ago, his governor sat in his car and watched him get slain. I'm trying to think what that copper's name was that got stabbed up outside Parliament. His governor was sat there in his big uniform, sat in his squad car, locked himself in, clicked the locks down. What a coward. They're cowards, people. They really are. The time has come. They need to fear us. When the government fear the people, there is liberty. And when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. Everyone fears the government. Everybody fears the government. They might not show it. They might not tell you. But if they don't pay a mortgage, they've got bailiffs coming round, kicking their doors in. They're all scraping around in this Hunger Games situation. They're all silently, just passively taking part of it. And I get it. I do get it. I get we just want an easy life. Well, I didn't come into this world to take part in that. I come into this world with many of you to change things, and change it we will. And we're going to change it for the better, ladies and gentlemen, because we are winning. We need to win. We need large numbers. You've got no idea the amount of numbers of people now that are at last paying attention. We really have. So, you know, the Piper yesterday wasn't a plant. I've met him. He's a really nice guy. I've met him a couple of times on some bits and bobs we've done in London, and he's a nice guy. He's certainly not a plant. And all he wanted to do was go and lay his reef down as an ex-serviceman to his fallen comrades, because they believed that what they were doing were right. When they went to the Falklands, they believed what they was doing was right. When they went to Germany and France and Flanders, they believed what they was doing was right. Apparently there's a TV documentary where a producer has now put together World War I footage in colour and in HD, high definition, and has actually got someone that lip reads and has put lip read all of what these Tommies and the Germans were talking about, and actually put voices to these high definition films and brought it right into present time. And I'm gonna have to find that and watch it, because I imagine that's quite impactful, you know. But the police don't care. We've now got all of them up there with their machine guns, you know. And I've always paid attention to things, always, and I actually despise seeing public servants with machine guns, really do, because then I'm just wondering, well, what happens when the machine guns are not a deterrent? What's the next level of violence? You know, and I deplore violence. I really do. I think it's disgusting. But they're there. They've got big gates. They're there with their pillboxes. They've got their machine guns and their sidearms. And I'm thinking to myself, this is 1936 Germany. Do as you're told. If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. Sounds interesting. So be careful, people, what you allow. All of our MPs are so far in bed with this corruption. It's unbelievable. But yesterday, I'm hoping and praying that many people get very incensed about what they see happen to this Scottish dude, the Piper. Feudal England. You best believe it's feudalism. My God. You're not allowed to own nothing. When in feudalism, you weren't allowed to own anything. You're just peasants. And that's what we are. You can't own a car. People say, oh, I own a car. I've got a Ferrari. Oh, is it yours? Yeah, oh, yeah. What happens if you don't pay tax on it or insurance on it? Well, they take it away. It's not yours then, is it? Oh, I see what you mean. Well, it can't be. Get your kids come into the world, and the state, I mean, look, I'm thankful that many people now are not registering their children. They're not informing. You have to be an informant to put your details down on the. We need an informant to come in and inform on a birth of a baby into the world of the dead, into necromancy. It's unbelievable. We're not going to allow this to happen. God's kingdom is coming back to God's kingdom and God's people, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, it is coming. We're not going to put up with these dark ones anymore. Also, be careful at what we react to before we know exactly what the crack is. Apparently, everyone knew what the plan was to try and get to be allowed through to the cenotaph. There you go. Absolutely. Facebook and all these other social media outlets are good in some respect, but many of the time they're a nemesis because everyone gets on them and tells everyone what they're going to go and do. Well, the system then just goes, oh, they're planning to do this. We'll just shut it all off and call it off. Got to be a bit more smarter and a bit more wiser to these things. Maybe use some other methods of communication. Who knows? But the system is evil. The system is dark, and we need to make sure that 1381 they stopped paying the poll tax. Yes, they did. 1381. 1381. Why does that date ring a bell to me? Something happened in 1381. That the Peasants' Revolt, wasn't it? 1381. I do believe that was the Peasants' Revolt. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Peasants' Revolt, 1381. Wat Tyler. Wat Tyler somehow managed to bring everyone together from all around the country to march on London. And when they got to London, they got involved in some very despicable acts of violence. And Wat Tyler was actually deceived by the king. I don't know if it was Richard or it might have been a King Richard. Certainly weren't King Henry. It was a Richard, I think. Richard III, maybe. He lured him into an area. I don't know if it was Spitalfield Market or somewhere. And they turned on Wat Tyler and killed him. And then they chopped his head off. See, Richard II. I weren't far out. They chopped his head off and put it on a pole as a reminder to what happens. But Wat Tyler managed to get everyone to sort of stand up. And what happened to Wat Tyler? They just come and took everything off of him. And he thought, you know what? I'm not having this. I'm certainly no resemblance to Wat Tyler and never wished to be. But, you know, someone used to say to me, you know, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Who knows? I don't know. But I know that if the Metropolitan Police keep bullying people and beating them up like they are, then they're stirring a hornet's nest. They're poking a bear with a stick, and they want to exercise a little bit of caution, because I know that once the people of this country decide to rise and come together, then the Metropolitan Police, with the levels of violence that they've been involved in for the last, Christ knows, 30, 40 years with the torture and that, they won't know nothing. I tell you, because this country and its people, if you look at the history and look at the past, you'll see what they're capable of. And I don't want to see that at all. I really don't, but who knows? England was involved in the 100-Year War. It was. This had left the treasury empty and the barons were tired of paying for the war. Absolutely. Chemical Liquor says, interesting. I'm revolted officially. God bless you. Yeah, Peasants' Revolt was 1381. Wat Tyler. We got a Wat Tyler way. Most towns have got a Wat Tyler way. Bypasses. There's one in Gillingham. And they celebrated a few years ago, didn't they? So many years of the Peasants' Revolt. So it is what it is. Guys, listen, I just thought I'd come in here for half hour and or so and just say to you, you know, what happened yesterday with this piper being pushed over is disgusting. Why are they trying to get rid of our customs and traditions? This has got to stop. We have an absolute right to go up and worship our war dead if we want to, because if not, their sacrifice was in vain. And this piper trying to walk through the police yesterday, you need ballsy people. Just because you're told you can't do a thing, if you allow that to happen, it's only going to get worse. The more that you just capitulate as a people and as a country and just accept this bullshit narrative that they're pumping out at the minute, you're going to become it, and it's going to become you. So I would press on with your right to freedom and liberty and express yourself in whichever way you want to. England under French Plantagenets. Yeah, the Plantagenets. What we've had the Saxo-Coburgs, we've had the Stuarts, we've had the Tudors, we've had the Plantagenets. We've had, fair few different things on the throne. And Lord knows where the Queen is. I know that Buckingham Palace is all boarded up. Every window pretty much in Buckingham Palace has got boards over it. And you've got to question why. What's Buckingham Palace boarded over for? Because if they're renovating the place, you don't board the windows up. You know, I'm sat in there in relatively decent daylight because I've got this door here. But if I block that door up, it's going to be pitch black in here. The last thing you do when you refurbish a property is board the windows up, unless there's destruction going on from youths and people vandalising. But who's going to go and vandalise Buckingham Palace? Come on, let's be real. So I am dubious about why they've boarded up the windows. Has it shut up shop? Was the Queen sold out? I know that the Queen is no longer sitting in any of the regalia that the royal family were sitting in, so perhaps the royal family have sold out, taken a cash lump sum and fucked off. Who knows? And that's why the state now is completely sovereign, because the Queen's out of the way. So if the state passed a law tomorrow to start executing you all and put you in FEMA camps, that could potentially happen. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe that's me thinking outside the box. Conscience, conscience, wake up, Mother England, an English Parliament for the English people in the United Kingdom. Absolutely right. That's what we need. The Scottish have got a parliament. The Welsh have got a parliament. What happened to England? Why are we such a fucking kicked in the bollocks people? I'm fed up with it. Fuck the government and fuck their bullshit. Excuse my French. This is an adult program. This is not for children. And their actions, what they're doing to people, far outstrip any words that I use. We got to push back. We got to tell them to fuck off. They work for us, ladies and gentlemen. We're the sovereign people of this country, not them. We're sovereign. So anyway, I'll see you all very soon. Very sad day yesterday. That poor Piper, I feel absolutely gutted for him. But he wanted to rock. When he got out, he wanted to have a bit. I'm telling you, they was holding him back. He wanted to punch that copper straight in the face. Who are these coppers? Who are they with all their weapons, scumbags? Yeah, my last parting words to that copper that did that yesterday. You, my son, are a fucking scumbag. I'll see you all soon. Take care, people. Thanks for tuning in. I might come back to you late this evening. Who knows? You never know. You might be so lucky. Thanks for keeping the faith. Staying with it. Let's plough forward. Let's get our country back, people. We need to. We've got to stop talking and we've got to start coming together. Trust me. Otherwise, we will be lost for a long, long, long time. I don't want to see that happen. I want to stand before it's too late. Take care.